Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator. And today we've got some awesome news and updates for the sim, so stick around and find out what they are. If you are interested in acquiring any of my Overkill's tutorial guides for Microsoft Flight Simulator, please consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides, as well as any future updates and future guides that will be coming down the road. Link to Patreon can be found in the description below. All right, as always, guys, my job here is to simply brief you on the weekly news from Microsoft Flight Simulator. I try to point out any key events or things that I think that you'll find particularly interesting. So feel free to just minimize the screen and listen to the sound of my beautiful voice. So let's go ahead and get started. Local legend number 7, the Cessna 195, has been released for the Microsoft Flight Simulator and can be found on the Microsoft Marketplace. Now, keep in mind, this is a part of the World Update 11 Canada, which we'll be talking about here in just a minute. But you can purchase this aircraft for $19.99. Now, the aircraft itself was developed by Carinato, which is, in my opinion, I love their aircraft. I think that they are, they're not the best, they're not the worst. They're very fairly priced. I always love their textures. They look absolutely gorgeous. I've never had an issue with the way any of them look. And then they're sort of that really just honest middle ground. Now, I will say one of the things that they need to work on is updating their aircraft once they're released, but we'll pick on them another day. I still end up purchasing just about everything they pull out. Now, the Cessna 195 is a radial engine high wing aircraft. It sort of reminds me of some of the aircraft that you would see in Indiana Jones from the Temple of Doom. Now, that was a tri-engine aircraft, if I remember correctly, from the Temple of Doom, but still has that same similar look. Very old aircraft, tail dragger. I do not know why I'm just being haunted with tail draggers that I'm going to be flying over the next couple weeks, but clearly that's just something that needs to happen to me. But it is a business liner, if you can believe it or not, that first flew in 1945. So the one of the early renditions of what we consider business aviation or business transportation today. So if you guys want to experience that, again, a radial engine. Now, I will say that I have Carinato's Waco, and I really loved the sound and the performance of the Waco. So, I mean, transferring that sound and that radio performance over to the now Cessna 195, I think it'll be a fun little aircraft. Let me know what you guys think down below. FS Live Traffic Liveries released. Now, this software was absolutely phenomenal. I did a very high level review and installation process of this software from Flybywire Simulations just a couple days ago. Now, this is the best AI traffic software that I have seen from Microsoft Flight Simulator to date. And the reason what makes it the best is not necessarily all in one, it's sort of the all-inclusive package. So let's talk about it from start to finish real quick, again, on a very high level. The installation process is about as easy can be. If you can use the Fly-by-Wire installer to install the Fly-by-Wire A32NX, you can use the software they have included for that because it uses the same installer. The configuration options are very simple to get to. I haven't done a video on that yet, but we'll be getting to it. You can customize it. You can reduce the workload. There are a couple settings that you want to change with inside the simulator, but it's very, very quick, very, very easy. The documentation is absolutely perfect. And it is, I saw on my videos, a couple people were talking, well, I prefer to fly with real people. FSTL is VATSIM ready, meaning that you can absolutely log into VATSIM, fly with your friends and other real people, and you will see their aircraft as you would see live traffic that's being injected into the sim as well. And that's the other cool thing about this incredibly free, very simple to use program from Fly-by-Wire is that it is injecting real world traffic. Now, I do not believe the scale or the timing is 1-to-1, but I believe it's very, very close. So that's absolutely freaking awesome. And the liveries and models are based on data streamed from Flight Radar 24. You guys can actually check out that website and you can see it's much like Flight Aware, not Flight Simware, but Flight Aware, that you can actually use to track real world aircraft currently flying in the world. I actually did it yesterday. My wife just flew to Norway, and I actually got to watch her entire flight. It was kind of cool. And so Flight Radar 24 is a very similar process to that. You know, you can see the aircraft's positioning, altitude, speed, their what's the word I'm looking for? Call sign. So really, really awesome work by Flybywire. Like, we should be even remotely surprised. This team is just continues to turn heads and kick some tails there. So super, super grateful. Like I said, I think my biggest thing that I really enjoy over this in comparison to anything else is how simple it was to install it. Now, there is a frame rate hit. I will absolutely be the first to say that. That's one of the cons to this, and that's why I said that I would consider this the best as a whole. But even that frame rate can be reduced. You can change the injection settings. You can change the number of aircraft that are pumped into your simulator. So keep that in mind. It's not a one and done scenario. You can change the configuration options to reduce the load on the simulator. But I was blown away. It's absolutely fantastic. Truly fantastic piece of software. And again, free. Seafront Simulations is bringing Hawaii to life with the vessels package that brings both naval and commercial vessels to the Hawaii area, and thus bringing that coastline to life. I will absolutely say that is definitely something that was missing. I have flown around the islands quite a few times in the time that we've been on Microsoft Flight Simulator, and just seeing all those satellite images of the vessels that are sunk down in 2D image, or just reflections of what vessels were there at the time the photo was taken, it was very disappointing. So I'm actually kind of excited by this one, and I think the price point for this is pretty reasonable. It comes out to about $13.26 US, $20.49 Australian, and you can pick it up from Orbix. And you guys can see, if you guys are watching the screen or just listening to my beautiful voice once again, the included Navy vessels. You have the Mighty Mo, the USS Missouri, an Arleigh Burke-class missile-guided destroyer, or destroyers, it looks like. It looks like we have more than one. Ticonderoga class, Oliver Hazard Perry class, Harper's Ferry class, and the Tarawa. That's kind of cool. The Tarawa class is a so for those of you who don't know what the Tarawa is, the Tarawa class, think of a very, very small aircraft carrier. It is used primarily to launch things like attack helicopters, or the AV-8B Harrier was very commonly launched from the Tarawa class. They are amphibious assault vehicles. Your Marine deployment units will often deploy from the Tarawa class. So really awesome little cruise or carrier. I mean, essentially that's what it is. Virginia class nuclear powered submarines. That one's pretty awesome. I'm kind of excited to see this one. And the USS Bowfin, the Baleo class submarine. If I'm not mistaken, the Baleo class is a diesel submarine, so I'm kind of excited to see that. I will be picking this up and doing a review on the channel, so make sure you guys keep an eye out for that. $13.26 for all these features that, I mean, every single one of these vessels piques my interest. So I'll definitely be doing a review if you guys want to hold off until you make your purchase and make your final decisions there. But it looks like there is quite a bit else if you guys take a look at the screenshots beyond just the naval destroyer. So anyway, let's go ahead and move on. Next up, we have another business jet that has joined the fleet, and I purchased it this morning myself, so we'll definitely be seeing this on the channel. And if it meets the expectations, I'm hoping to have a really good guide done on this one, because it seems to be meeting everything that we needed from some of the previous business jets that have hit the simulator. So we have the Cockspur's Cessna 510 Mustang. Now, this aircraft first flew in 2005, have nearly 500 built, holds up to 5 passengers, and has a cruising altitude of 41,000 feet, or maximum, I should say, altitude of 41,000 feet, but has a great speed of 480 knots. That's pretty freaking awesome. So this is, I feel like, what the Honda Jet was meant to be when we got it. I know we can't necessarily say Honda Jet. I think it's H-Jet is what we're supposed to call it. Honda didn't actually approve the calling of Honda Jet, which is why they did that. That's why it took so long for it to come out. There was a licensing issue. Now, this aircraft has been said to be very, very accurate, with an incredibly accurate flight model and a great experience. Has everything that it needs in its current build to completely enjoy the experience from a very realistic standpoint. So we're going to be testing this one out. I'm hoping to fly this one tonight and have something out to you guys later on today. Maybe we'll do a live stream tomorrow with it. I think that might be kind of fun. Take a couple little short hops. That way we get to see all the stages of flight in rapid succession, is what my plan was. But it is a very, very beautifully done aircraft. I'm very, very impressed with the texturing, and I'm hoping that everything's going to go as planned when it comes time to flight, and we're going to stay on that. Now, we did pick this thing up for 24.99 euros. Not too bad, really not. Again, if it meets the expectations that it's claiming to hit, I really have no problem with that price point. Now, it is using the G1000 NXI. So we're not going to be seeing anything like the G3000 or G5000 suites that we see with some of the other business jet aircraft, but that's totally fine as long as it meets up again to the standards and the expectations of the flight performance itself, and as long as what systems are there are working and working well. Custom engine sounds, that one always gets me on board, because that lets me know that there was a lot of effort put into it. I hope, at least it keeps me optimistic for it. And the biggest one that I did want to point out here was that they have specifically mentioned extensive documentation, and developed with the help from real Mustang pilots. So you've got my attention right across the board. As soon as I read all of that, I had no problem. I immediately went to their website and purchased the aircraft. Again, if you guys want to hold off until I do my review, by all means, but I did want you guys to be aware that it is out and available for purchase at what I am deeming at the moment to be a very fair price. And next up, for those of you who weren't aware, World Update 11 Canada has dropped. Microsoft Flight Simulator has promised that the photographic imagery for Canada is the latest and most up to date, with all of the most accurate terrain information currently available. So I have not done a lot of flying in Canada, but I will definitely be checking some of this out. I do not believe I have installed World Update 11, so I think I'm going to do it before and after, check out some of the places. They do be sure to highlight about 5 or 6 different airfields here specifically, as well as some points of interest for the Canadian area that we'll be checking out as we move through the next week of video footage. I will say from the screenshots, it looks absolutely beautiful, but I got to say that with each world update they've done, I've never had any issue. I think that they all look pretty fantastic. Be sure to check out the full features and points of interest list that is listed here on the FS Elite website, as there is quite a bit of coverage that was adjusted and added to the simulator. UK 2000 has added another scenery to the Microsoft Flight Simulator world. That's going to be Belfast City Airport, also known as George Best. This is in the center of Belfast itself, and is very, very close to the Titanic Museum and the Bombardier factory. Now, I picked this one up because I love the entire area and the entire region of Ireland. I think it's an absolutely beautiful place to fly. I love being around it. It's one of those few countries that really make me question my citizenship in the United States, only because of how beautiful it is. It's absolutely stunning area, absolutely gorgeous. And I think that this scenery was very, very well done. I did watch the YouTube video that is available here on the FS Elite website. So if you guys want to check that out, be sure to check the link in the description below. Check out the YouTube video itself, and be sure to give them a like and subscribe if you guys enjoy that, as it certainly helps all content creators produce their work. It is really, really well done, and a very, very beautiful airport. And it was a nice addition. When you see, if you compare the default to the new edition, it's quite impressive. But anyways, make sure you guys check that out. Again, that is Belfast City Airport. Last up on the list here, guys, I did want to once again announce that my Boeing 787 tutorial guide will be released. I cannot talk today. Will be released by no later than the 7th of October. That is my guarantee and promise to you Patreon subscribers. I thank you guys very, very much for all of your patience through this. It was quite a hard one to put together because a lot of the information was very hard to track down, and there are also still many pieces of the information that unfortunately are inaccurate. Much of the aircraft, even using the Heavy Division 787 mod, is not modeled, but I have done my best to include all of the steps that would be required to start the 787, assuming that they were in fact modeled. So if we ever get a high fidelity or quote unquote study level, if you will, I hate using that term, but if we ever do get a study level 787, hopefully the guide will be ready to go and up to par for that. Obviously with some minor changes, but I have been creating the guide as if every system in the aircraft is functional, which is why it has taken such an exuberant amount of time to get completed. We still have quite a bit of work to do, but I am very confident that by no later than the 7th of October, I will have the guide released and into the hands of Patreon subscribers. Thank you all so much for your continued support. There is yeah, 90% of what I do, I wouldn't be able to do without both YouTube subscribers and you Patreon subscribers. You guys really make what I do possible, and I can't tell you how much I love you all, and I'm so grateful and humbled by this experience and what my channel has turned into. As always, guys, stay safe and healthy, and I will see you in the next one.